My friends, Soul Tribe reading. I'm so excited to see you guys. I haven't done a Soul Tribe reading in like 2 weeks. I'm so happy to see you. I got home last night. I'm actually not feeling the best today, but I wanted to do a reading anyway. I feel like I have so much to tell you guys. I have to tell you, while I was away, I missed you guys so much. I was in like gift stores and I'm like, I wish I could buy my Soul Tribe one of everything. I thought about you guys a lot. There was a lot that I wanted to talk to you about while I was away. I had a lot of, magical things happen while I was away. Actually, when I flew, I was in Florida, and the day before we flew out, they had that hurricane. So anyway, yesterday when we flew out, as we were taking off, we actually flew right into a rainbow, which I thought was the most magical thing ever. Just a couple things that I wanted to tell you about. I saw on the resort I was staying at, one night we went down to the pool, and there was a black cat there, it was totally black. And I really do feel like it was a lesson for me in black cat energy, because it didn't matter what I did. This cat would like come this close to me, but wouldn't actually come to get pets. It stood like it would come like this close to me and like do this with its paws and rub up against the patio chairs. Anyway, it was truly a lesson in black cat energy. It didn't matter what I did. That cat would not come right to me. It would just come, like I said, like that far away from me. And it took everything in me not to chase it. My kids were like, why don't you just walk right up to it? And I'm like, because it doesn't want me to walk up to it. I'm respecting its energy anyway. And then the next morning, as I was approaching the elevator to go downstairs, a frickin' cardinal flew right in front of the window and landed on the branch right outside the window, which I also thought was magical. Anyway, I can't tell you how many times the universe just really was looking out for me while I was away. I had so many things happen that, the people I was with were like, I can't believe our luck. And I'm like, it's not luck, it's the universe. And by the end of my vacation, I had my sister and her husband and all 4 of my kids showing gratitude to the universe just because they were following, suit. They were listening to me. So many times, we just missed getting downpoured on, or we just made a bus, or it was just or we'd be in a bus of like 100 people and we were the last ones to make it on the bus. Anyway, we just had amazing luck. They call it luck. I know exactly what it was. Even with that hurricane, we ventured out, and it was like it started right as soon as we got home. That's like from the hotel. We walked, they shut down all the ferry services there, so we had to walk all the way back to the hotel. And the whole time I was walking, I was like, thanks, universe. Thanks for looking out for me. No rain yet. No rain yet. And I swear, the minute we walked into that hotel, the skies opened and it started raining. Anyway, I just had amazing luck and synchronicities the entire time, to the point where my kids were seeing it, my sister was seeing it, and by the end, we were all like, whenever something happened, we were all like, thanks, universe. So anyway, it was pretty cool. I missed all of you guys. I'm happy to be home. It was nice to be away, but I'm happy to be home. But yeah, yesterday I flew into a freaking rainbow. I did get sick on my vacation, which I think was a huge sign that I need to take care of myself more. I was kind of pushing myself before I went away on vacation. I was really pushing myself. So I'm gonna, take that as a sign from the universe that I need to rest more. Anyway, take care of myself more, listen to my body more. We talk about it here. But I was really excited to see you guys. I took one tarot deck with me, and I only looked at it a few times. Anyway, I missed all of you. I missed tarot. I missed it all. So I'm happy to be back with you. I'm wearing a Harry Potter shirt, which I only realized today that these are Dementors. I didn't realize what it was. I'll show it to you. But like there's the stag on it, which I believe is his father. And then you see Harry Potter saying expecto patronus, But I didn't realize that these are all Dementors. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you that. I also came across a sweater at Universal. It's a Harry Potter sweater, and it's pink, and it says Love Potion on it. And I'm like, I'm a love reader. I need to get that sweater. So once I dig that out, maybe I'll wear that for a soul tribe reading. Anyway, I had a really nice time. While I was gone, my sister bought me a crystal ball from Harry Potter, which I thought was amazing. So I'm going to show you guys. I have it in my setup for tarot, like the over the head tarot. But I just wanted to show people who could appreciate the beauty of it. So it has 3 elephants on it. It's from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It's a divination ball. And yeah, it's gorgeous. So I have that in my tarot setup now. But I was excited to show you guys that because you're my besties. You know, I could say to my friend, my sister bought me a crystal ball, and she'd be like, oh, cool. It just meant a lot to me when she gave it to me. Anyway, I took a book by this book that we've been reading. She has another book that I took with me that I had the intention of reading while I was away or on the plane, whatever. But I really struggle with reading on my own. So I may even read that book with you guys. It's called The Mountain Is You, and it's about self-sabotage and about how you're the only one stopping yourself, which we talk about here all the time. But again, when I went to read it, it just didn't feel the same reading on my own. I wasn't retaining it the same way. So I was really excited to get home to you guys and do a soul tribe reading. But I'm not feeling the best today, so we'll see how long I make it. But I did grab this healing deck that we've been using so much, just because I do want to read a chapter out of that book today. This is How You Heal, that book. So let's see what's happening. I hope you guys are doing well. It's been so long. We have recognized new growth. It's interesting. When I'm getting this deck, I'm never called to look at the cards when I'm cutting them like I usually do. But for some reason, I'm really called to that card. So recognize new growth. Maybe you're someone who needs to recognize how far you've come. Maybe you're someone who's fallen into, you know, comparing yourself to others rather than comparing yourself to your own journey. Maybe it's been a while since you looked back and seen how much you've grown and changed. So let's see. Let's see what comes out. I do want to read that card to you. We have Trust Yourself. Number 5. After a major loss, it can be more challenging to trust others, trust life, or even trust yourself. Yet you're a good person with strong inner wisdom. It's natural to be cautious, but trust yourself, as well as go to others for wise counsel. Consult your intuition. Mistakes from the past lead to better choices today. Trust is regained gradually. So maybe you're someone who's struggling to trust your own intuition, to trust yourself. This is also Hierophant energy, so truly trusting that spiritual presence within you is what I'm hearing. Maybe you're having a hard time trusting in your intuition. Maybe you're overthinking things. Maybe you're doubting because you can't see things in the 3D. Don't overthink or second guess yourself now. This is on page 20, so you could be going through some type of an awakening right now. You could be going through some type of test, I'm hearing. So let's keep reading. This card is a reminder that while you may be navigating confusing or intimidating circumstances, your intuitive instincts are sound. You may have experienced a loss that also brought on a loss of confidence in yourself or your judgment. The fact that we didn't always see something coming, like a significant loss, can make us lose faith in ourselves unnecessarily. It's normal to get blindsided by life. We also fall prey to wishful thinking or ignore our gut instincts and the warning signs around us. Trust that you will show up every day doing the best you can, which is all that's required now. If your confidence is shaky, this issue is in process and will resolve. Don't overcompensate. In time, you may have more faith in yourself than ever before. Seek sensible counsel. Take up room at the negotiation table when debate or compromise is called for. And it talks about following your hunches, following your intuition, trusting yourself, trusting your intuition rather than your ego. And I wanted to read that other one, recognize new growth. What we often forget regarding new growth in ourselves and in our lives is that it usually happens just as growth does in nature, slowly yet surely. In some ways, that's a blessing, as part of your healing from grief might be giving your nervous system a break so that you're not overwhelmed. Just like when a sapling is planted on your property, you can watch new growth every day and feel like nothing is happening. Yet there's so much happening beneath the surface. What's growing now in you and in your life, slowly but surely? A new sense of confidence, a purpose around a career or calling, a new relationship or a way of showing up to old relationships, a new way of being with your body. Change, even when it's positive, can be brutal to deal with emotionally when it happens overnight. This card indicates a lovely change is happening at a healing pace, like ivy growing slowly up a garden wall to provide you more shade and a prettier view. 6 months, a year, or 5 years from now, you might look back on this moment and be amazed at the lushness of your life. So it sounds like you're going through slow growth, Growth doesn't happen overnight. Instant gratification. We've all been taught that instant gratification is the best thing ever, and it's not. The biggest changes take the longest, is what I'm hearing. So recognize new growth. And, understanding that growth and healing happens slowly. We have healing. Prioritize beauty therapy. Interesting. Beauty is a sustaining force for the human spirit and healing for the soul. And I'm not talking about materialistic beauty. Spend time in a beautiful nature setting. Wear a beautiful outfit or jewelry. Purchase a beautiful object for your home or office. Notice the beauty all around. Beauty therapy doesn't have to cost much or any money. Beauty is your birthright. Your inner beauty shines through. And I feel like there's so much pressure, or not pressure. There's so much emphasis when we talk about beauty. Beauty is not skin deep, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Beauty is everywhere. Everything is beautiful, in my opinion. Every person, well, not every person is beautiful. I feel like every person is beautiful in their own way. I can't say that every person is beautiful, though, because some people are overpowered by darkness and ego. But what am I trying to say? Well, let's just read what it says in the actual book. How about we do that? Because right away some may not think of beauty as healing. They may instead think of it as frivolous, although beauty is anything but. Beauty can be incredibly calming, grounding, and connecting. Just looking at an image online of a small lake nestled in the mountains with pine trees dotting the landscape can instantly make you feel more relaxed and open. Witnessing this view in person can inspire awe and bring you to tears. The impulse to design our living spaces in a way that's beautiful to us, or to adorn our bodies in clothes and jewelry and makeup that make us feel beautiful, can be a bold act of defiance by the human spirit, determined to revel in what is wonderful about this life despite the inherent pain and suffering. When life feels heavy, it's important to soothe the soul with beauty, which lightens the energy, which is why we send beautiful flowers to those that are grieving. Your spirit needs nourishment. Beauty, in whatever form it's available and authentic to you, is a cup to drink deeply from now. Celebrate and cultivate your inner beauty. And this is on, it's on page 100 and leading on to 101, which, 111, we're in alignment. So the action steps, I want to read this because I think that I've been taught that when you hear beauty or when you hear, for a while I thought that it was skin deep, or I thought that beauty came from the outside, when it truly doesn't. Beauty comes from the inside. You can be the most beautiful person on earth on the outside, but if your soul is not beautiful, I don't know. This card gives you a homework assignment that is twofold. Notice beauty more in your everyday life and proactively bring more beauty into your world. Beauty might take you by surprise, like passing a bedroom window and catching a glimpse of sunlight on trees, or hearing a bird chirp beautifully. Pause and take in the image or sound. And the world is so beautiful, and I think we overlook it. I think that a lot of people, maybe not us, but a lot of people are just like nose to the grindstone or whatever, or just so focused on materialistic things, so focused on the daily grind, so focused on their phones that they miss all the beauty that's around us. Everything around us is beautiful. The birds, the trees, the sun, the clouds. Like, if you want art, look up into the sky at those clouds, Anyway. Typical soul tribe reading. I'm rambling about nothing. Or be surprised to find the beauty in an interesting face in the crowd, on the lines on an elder's hand, or the imperfection in a chipped vase, whatever. Listen to beautiful music. Have beautiful conversations with others about beautiful subjects like love, healing, compassion, and mercy. Bathe in beauty by adding sweet aromatherapy to your tub or rose petals. This card isn't about going out and spending a lot of money on new clothes or furnishings, although it may be a gentle nudge to beautify your surroundings. When you dress each morning, choose clothes with fabrics that feel good against your skin and suit your personal taste. Yes! I used to really dress for other people, or I'd dress, that's stupid, dress to impress. And when I was unmasking when I realized I was autistic, or, highly spiritual being, one of the first things I did was I started wearing things that felt comfortable to me, clothing that felt comfortable to me. I could put on a silly, pretty dress and high heels and all of that, and I would not feel comfortable. To me, hoodies are beautiful. But you should be dressing with fabrics that feel good against your skin and suit your personal taste. Because if you're dressing for someone else, or because society says you should, or this or that, it's not going to feel authentic to you. It's not going to feel good to you, if that makes sense. Beauty is subjective, so discover to lean into your own beauty instincts. We know beauty is our birthright as humans because there's nothing more beautiful than a genuine smile on the face of someone we love, which is free. Find a personal picture that symbolizes this for you and frame it. Beauty lives on and endures. And I think for a long time, like I said, I was someone who thought that beauty was just on the outside. I always knew, that's not true. I always knew that beauty came from within. But I think that the rest of the world forgets that, or is still learning that. I don't know. I'm not making any sense. I'm just going to get one more from this deck. Be gentle with yourself. Gentle, soft energy is one way to create a cushion around the harsher aspects of life. Be gentle and kind to yourself with your thoughts, and seek out people, places, books, music, and movies with a nurturing, comforting vibe. Increase the cozy quotient in your immediate environment. Baby yourself via emotional swaddling. This is 15, so Maybe there's some shadows about yourself that you need to be more gentle about, more forgiving about. Grief can leave you frazzled and forlorn. Imagine yourself as a tiny baby being swaddled in gentle energy, creating a protective cocoon against the unforgiving and at times relentless nature of grief. Just as an infant seeks the comfort, safety, and protection of a gentle caregiver during its most vulnerable years, seek out soothing thoughts, people, and places now. Be careful with yourself in a healthy way, treating yourself tenderly. This is not the time to be sharp, critical, or tough with yourself. So be very forgiving with yourself, very gentle with yourself, even if you make a mistake. If anything in your life feels punishing, find ways to make the experience gentler. More than any other card in this deck, this card emphasizes the need to nurture yourself. Treat yourself gently by ensuring you're physically comfortable at your work desk or on your living room sofa. Keep the kitchen stocked with your favorite comforting, healthy foods and snacks. Keep the temperature of your house comfortable, and put your favorite comfy sheets on a bed. Pick gentle exercise routines and have gentle, nurturing conversations. Connect with healers, authors, podcasters, and spiritual forces who exude a gentle energy. Visit websites and social media channels with gentle content and themes. Find ways to cozy up your environment, like drinking a delicious, warm and frothy beverage, making a large space feel smaller and cozier, or adding comfy pillows and blankets of all weights. Soften life's rough edges. Visit shops and cafes with gentle vibes at quiet times of day. If your home wasn't the most nurturing place growing up, find articles online with examples of gentle ways to nurture yourself now. Wrap any judgments about yourself in several protective layers of love. Interesting. So I'm going to read from that book now, is what we're going to do. So we left off with, this is how you find the confidence to pursue what you really love. So we're going to read this part today, if you're still with me. This is for every person who finds themselves staring wide-eyed at the prospect of their dreams while their chest sinks as they become overwhelmed with doubt and dread, with fear that this feeling might be a sign not to move forward. This is for every person whose thoughts are imagined echoes of what the world might say, all of which ultimately circles back to the same sentiment. Who are you to do this? Maybe you're young and learning. Maybe you're not so young and have an established career that's a safe bet and to fast and easy retirement. Maybe you're switching fields entirely. Maybe you're trying something completely new. Maybe you're finally getting the courage to share what you've been creating and dreaming of since you were doing it alone in your childhood bedroom. No matter where these words may find you on your journey, they are for you if there's something deep within you calling you to your future and an overwhelming doubt trying to keep you stuck right where you are. For some reason, I'm hearing, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like years and years and years and years and years ago, Adam Sandler had like a CD. Remember CDs? And there was that one, They're All Gonna Laugh at You. And it was just him talking to his mom, and anything he said, she was like, they're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. So maybe you have like a very negative, I used to have one. It was my dad's voice in my head, like, you're not smart enough to do that. You're too stupid to do that. Maybe you have a negative thought process in your mind whenever you think of putting yourself out there. Maybe, for some reason I was hearing online dating. Like maybe you're thinking about online dating and the voice in your head says, no one will ever love you. Maybe you're thinking about starting a channel and that voice says, nobody will ever watch you. Nobody cares about what you have to say. Anyway, they're not all going to laugh at you. And if they laugh at you, Who cares? You know, when I was away, I have to tell you guys something. I'm interrupting myself. I was just having a conversation. My sister made a comment about all the rings I wear. And I was just telling her about how when I was a kid, I know I've told you guys this. When I was a kid, I wore a lot of rings and I got bullied for it, to the point where I would never wear rings. Or if I did wear rings, I would only wear one or two. And when I was away, somebody, I'm not giving this person attention. I didn't let it bug me. But I had someone, comment on my rings on my channel. And they're like, why do you wear so many rings? Don't you know that less is more? It doesn't look good. And my response to them, because I did respond, was like, they're my fingers. What are you worried about? Like, can we please normalize letting people do what they want to do with their own bodies and their own outfits and things like that? The thing that people don't get, like, you really have no right to comment on someone else's body or someone else's style or someone else's authenticness, if that's even a word. Like I had girls tell me, they used to tease me about my hair and like, why don't you ever do anything more fancy with your hair? And I let that get to me. Do people not realize, like, when you make comments like that to someone who doesn't have the greatest self-esteem, they take those words to heart and it can stop them from being their authentic self. And it just, I didn't let that person's comment bother me. I did respond to them. But seriously, what do you care what is on my fingers? It just feels really weird to me. It's like telling someone like, ew, you have too many tattoos. It's their body. They can do with it what they want. You don't have to look. You don't have to comment. And just like that thing that I'm talking about, they're all going to laugh at you. I just wish we could normalize, just let people be themselves. Who are you to tell someone that they're wearing too many rings or that they're not wearing the right clothes or that their hairstyle isn't right? It just really bugs me. Their comment didn't bug me. It just bugs me because I know, as someone who used to let comments like that bug me, if you are someone with low self-esteem, those comments can affect you and they can affect... Anyway, I'm wearing 18 rings. You think I give a crap? I have 18 rings on. I counted them after that comment. They all mean something to me. All of my rings mean something. There's a story behind every one of my rings, and they're me, Anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about that. I don't even know why I'm talking about that. But you should only be making decisions like that, or only you should be judging yourself. And even then, I think we're too harsh on ourselves. We judge ourselves too harshly. Remember that card about the 15 card, about being gentler with yourself. Stop judging yourself so much. Anyway, I don't even know what the point of that was. You need to look around, not at the greats, not at your idols. Comparing yourself to them will only ever make you feel small and unworthy. Instead of measuring yourself by this standard, consider their successes proof of what's possible, and then look beside you. Watch your peers, see what those around you are doing. Notice how many artists are creating and building businesses born of their passions. Watch how many writers are crafting poems. How many coaches are leading their clients? How many classes are selling? How education is moving? How our art is being purchased and displayed? The world we live in today makes things possible that were completely impossible just a few years ago. People want to support you. They want to learn from you. They want to grow with you. You are part of this ecosystem. You already fit in. If you watch those beside you for long enough, what you'll notice is that those who are steadfast in their life of their deepest longing aren't necessarily the most gifted, the most outrageously talented, or the most perfect at their craft. What they are is just a few steps ahead of you, because they showed up consistently during the time you spent wondering if you should. When we are too good at something, our practice of it often devolves into mania and madness. We become consumed by it. Our sense of importance eclipses the work itself, and we render ourselves paralyzed. You don't need to be this way. It doesn't have to look like this. Those idols that you're in the shadows of, they had day jobs. The people who lived long, fulfilling lives pursuing what they truly loved didn't always make their income from it or even a lot of money from it. Others did and do. Either way, you don't need to measure your worthiness as an artist or a creator or an entrepreneur or a seeker by the level at which your commitment overshadows all else. Showing up is what makes your work worthwhile. Showing up is what creates your worth. Showing up and allowing is what makes your best product. It is not comparisons of expertise. It is not complexity or realism. It is not who has the hottest, quickest take. It is not who is successful, fastest, or who has the most, or who is most front-facing about it. It is not about the few people who can create absolute masterpieces of their work and their lives, but the many who are willing to show up and do the best they can, create what inspires them and makes them feel and think, who prove that often what we want to share and consume is more about what resonates on a human level than what's so impressive. It becomes compelling. The art on walls of museums is without question extraordinary, but it isn't often on the walls of homes, and it's not because of the price, because one could get a print or similar edition. What's on the walls of homes are the messages that speak to us. That's what's on people's bookshelves. That's what's in their reading queue and their YouTube video watching queue. That's what they share with those they love. That's what they choose to purchase. That's what they choose to engage with. You do not have to be a fine artist to be worth pursuing what you love. You do not need to be a best-selling author. You don't need to be on television. You don't need to be a household name. You don't need to write the next novel that's studied in classrooms across the country. You do not need to be the most impressive, elusive, untouchable. You do not need a huge audience. You do not need a lot of people to believe in your ability. All you need is the willingness to create something that is authentic. I'm drooling. 333 as I'm drooling. All you need is the willingness to create something that is authentic and true and moving to you. Something that lifts you out of your own human experience and into another. Something that makes sense of the past, clears your perception of the future, makes you experience the same emotions you did when you first fell in love or learned to let go, or felt completely at awe or inspired or at peace. That is what should arrive into the hands of our fellow human beings. If you are looking for permission to do what you love, if you are seeking the confidence to pursue what you would like to spend your days doing, what you are really asking for is whether or not you are good enough to be worth people's time. Know this. People want to hear stories that sound like their own. They want to read work that meets them precisely where they are. They want to collect and consume that which makes them feel understood. They want to see outside of them a little piece of what's within them, and the only way you can create that for people is to pull out a sliver of your soul and put it on paper. That's all. It's easy to buy into the idea that what we were exposed to as good growing up and in school is the entirety of what goodness is. That good is typically defined by a very specific measure. It is also handpicked by those who probably have an agenda. It is not comprehensive. This is not representative. Blah, 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 blah. I haven't read in 2 weeks. It usually doesn't speak to people the way it might have 100 years ago. The art we need today is different because we don't need to create in order to prove something about our talent anymore. Instead, we can create to share energy. I love that. We can create to express experience. We can create to make people feel heard and understood. Your words could help save someone. You know, your words, your voice. What am I trying to say? I was thinking of that. I was talking about Aaron Doughty once and how he was saying that he was talking like to the viewer, you know, you could be doing exactly what I'm doing and people may respond better to you because they resonate with you more. Does that make sense? Anyway, we can create to heal ourselves and extend that healing outward. If you are looking for a sign, looking for something to convince you that you are enough for your own destiny, you will have to start with the first emboldening thing, which is to feel your life from the inside instead of perceiving it from the outside. You will have to start to deconstruct the way you have lived prior to this moment, because if you're like most people, the majority of what you do and choose to believe is your own vision of your... Because if you're like most people, the majority of what you do and choose and believe is your own vision, is actually a copy of someone else's, a means to an end, and the end is always connection. You will have to decide that living in accordance with your innermost truth is your top priority, for which anything can be risked and everything must. You will have to decide to the extent to which you are willing to meet your soul at the mountaintop. It's interesting that it says that because I was mentioning that book, The Mountain Is You. How far will you climb, and how much you will care, and how deeply you will commit to the work, because this is work. You will have to say goodbye to certainties, 5-year plans, regular paychecks, easy explanations about what you do. The thing that makes people feel less fear, but not more alive. You will have to draft a vision for what you could see your life becoming. You will need to be ambitious, because if you're going to go for it, you need to go all the way. While you're doing this, you need to remove any pieces of that vision that are contingent upon trying to prove your worth to someone who might want to work with you. Your worth is your own to share and for the world to see. No more playing mind games with yourself. You will have to become a perpetual student. You will have to learn about business, even if you're an artist. You will have to learn about art, even if you're a business owner. You will have to determine where to create your platform, how to weave together your community, where your presence would be most impactful, and how. You will have to figure out the ecosystem that will become your life, the ways in which you will create and share, and then allow your work to ripple outward and into infinitely more. You will have to start where you are. You will have to be humbled. You will have to stop knocking at the door and build your own hallway. You will have to test and try to change things. Your first approach won't be your last. I'm just going to go to the next part so I don't get interrupted. You will have to be willing to throw spaghetti at a wall more times than you think you should. You will have to be willing to fold, not because something isn't working, but because something else could be better. You will have to reinvent your self-image. You will have to become the kind of person who makes a living doing what they love, not an amateur trying to see if they could maybe get by. You have to stop asking for permission. You will have to stop thinking one person's perspective of you is the sum of who you are. You will have to show up again, again, and again. You will have to create again and again and again. Then you will have to watch for what arrives and what remains. I'm getting chills because I'm like having memories of like last year when I started doing this. Then you will have to watch for what works. Wait for what is effortless. Keep going until you get to a point where the slightest bit of your effort reaps a large reward, and then keep going. Keep going. You are going to have to do things that other people are unwilling to do. You're going to have to stop being afraid of fluctuating income or credit card debt or bad reviews or looking dumb or staying cool and pretending like you don't care. You are going to have to care. You are going to have to believe in your vision until someone else does. You will have to hold a torch for yourself first. You will have to learn that we do not spontaneously find the courage to pursue what we love one day. We sense an urge, a hunch, a small desire to take one step in the direction of our dreams. Then we keep going, even in the face of doubt and speculation. Then we pursue with wild open hearts, with total abandon, with complete commitment. Interesting. For some reason, I'm being called to mention a movie to you guys. Interesting. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. I believe it was based on a true story, but don't quote me on that. And it's about a girl who wants to be a diver. She wants to ride horses. That's her dream. And she's an orphan. Anyway, great movie if you've never seen it. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. And I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Anyway, she decides to go after her dream, even though everybody she meets tells her that she can't do it. She's not pretty enough. She's not this enough. She's not that enough. And she keeps fighting. She keeps trying. She keeps, the scene where she's training to jump on a horse so that she can jump off a tower on that horse. She falls down again and again and again. And the person helping her is like, you're never going to get this. You're never going to be able to do it. And she keeps pushing. And even when she becomes that horse diver, something else happens to her and she continues to push the boundaries. Anyway, I don't know why I felt like mentioning that movie, but I did. So that movie could be symbolic. Maybe there's a hidden message in it for you. If you've never seen it, it's a great movie. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. The confidence you are looking for will not arrive until you begin. It will not come from mental gymnastics, comparisons, or delusions about your importance. It will come from the simple virtue of being someone who is willing to risk it all in order to live a life that feels the most true to them, to create something that they care about and hope that someone else might care about it too. That's all. That's the story for all of us, every last one. You don't need to find confidence to pursue what you really love. You just have to be willing to start. And I have to tell you, speaking from personal experience, the confidence comes. You just have to have the courage to start. Then you will also need to be willing to stop. Overcorrecting is the opposite of creativity. Overworking is not aspirational, and it's an escape mechanism. What nobody tells you is that the passion and obsession are entryways to one another. You will walk a fine line every day. What nobody tells you is that doing what you love heightens your sensitivity to your work in a way that you are always in a bit of denial of. Disapproval hurts in a soul-clenching kind of way because you care, even if it's hard to admit that you care. You care because this is more than a job. You care because this is more than just a means to an end. These are your most vulnerable pieces. This is who you are. What nobody tells you is that doing what you love almost always means doing a lot of other stuff to pay the bills so that you can carve out space and buy back time to create freely with abandon and imperfect alignment with what you want to become. What nobody tells you about doing what you love is that uncertainty holds more people back than talent or lack thereof ever could. What nobody tells you is that consistency outpaces talent. What nobody tells you is that when you marry the two together, doing what comes effortlessly as often as you can, you hit your stride. What nobody tells you is that security is an illusion, one that most people have bought into. There are no safe jobs, paths, choices. And if there were, pursuing your dreams and having multiple forms of income would probably be safer anyway. They don't teach you that part in school. What nobody tells you about doing what you love is that you have to learn where to source your creativity from, because where most people begin is with their deepest pain, and where they end is in burnout. What nobody tells you is that you will have to strengthen your creative muscle to the point that you can both work but remain relatively detached. What nobody tells you is that it's the attachment that hurts. It's the expectation of what it should be or would be, and by when. Because of all the unknowns, for all of the vulnerability, for all of the days you spend staring at the path and not knowing what could be ahead, what nobody tells you is that it's worth it. Every last bit. I could cry right now. It is worth it. It's worth it to exchange an illusion of security for the reality of living the way you want, regaining at least some pieces of your life, at least just going for it, at least just trying. Trying is more than what most people are willing to do anyway. Nobody knows what's next. What nobody tells you is that making money from what you love isn't selling out. It isn't selling out. It's letting your soul support you and fuel you. It's accepting that we all need income to live, and if we can do it through our passion, that's great. What nobody tells you is that though it may be outside the norm, you're not completely an outlier. More people than you can imagine are pursuing similar paths. You are not alone. You never have been. You're not a unicorn. I like to believe we can be unicorns. I understand what she's saying, but I still like to believe that we're all unicorns. Instead of letting your ego get hurt by this, embrace it. Connect with others going the same way. What nobody tells you is that the hardest part will be figuring out how to structure your days now that it's all up to you. This requires discipline. It requires vision. It requires commitment. It requires a lot of self-imposed structure. It is hard at first, then it becomes more freeing over time. What nobody tells you is that this is not the easy way out. This is not necessarily how you opt into a life without any struggle. It's just doing something that makes the struggle worth it. Anyway, that's the end of that chapter. So the next one is read this if you're on the brink of a breakthrough but are afraid to take the leap. So we'll read that one tomorrow. I am going to leave it here. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for reading that book with me. Thank you for being my reading buddy. Remember in elementary when we had reading buddies? Elementary, is that what we call it now? That's what we call it in Canada, elementary school. And you'd have people from the higher grades come read. That's how it feels. You're my reading buddy. Anyway, I'm happy to be home with you guys, and I will be here again tomorrow to do a soul tribe reading that will hopefully feel more... This one felt kind of woo because, my ego monster is present because it's been 2 weeks. But anyway, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for being a part of my life. I've missed you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Love you. Bye.